I rhyme for my life, I rhyme for my pay, I rhyme for my people out here doing it every day. I rhyme for the raw heads, I rhyme to the beat, I rhyme for the ears that be keeping it to the street. I rhyme for my life, I rhyme for my pay, I rhyme for the people out here doing it every day. I rhyme for the raw heads, I rhyme to the beat, I rhyme for the ears that be keeping it to the street. The underground overlord coming to town, oh my god, raw heads, you know my squad, real shit, no facade.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mullet.
Welcome back to Slotrods, and welcome to the 2024 Motown Arm Drop Challenge.
Jake Rendos from Motown organized this race, and we're going to let him tell you a little bit about it.
Alright, today's setup's Chase is a race. Arm drop as soon as the hands fall, it's when you go. And don't matter what lane you end up in as long as you're across the finish line.
Now, maybe we should tell them what Chase is a race means, for the people that don't know.
Well, the gist of it is that the race is supposed to start when the starting person drops their arms. If somebody goes early, it's just like if you go early before the flashlight goes on. However, if the other person decides they're going to chase after them, it's a race.
And, just like when a car gets called for jumping, if the car moves at all on the starting line, it's considered chasing.
And here are your contestants for tonight's challenge. Pink Lady drew the bye and automatically moves on to round 2.
And you'll be meeting them as we go. There's some old favorites and some new faces.
Round 1, race 1, the Thunderbird called Louise versus the Comet called Purplicious.
Well, we didn't have to wait long for an example of what Chase is a race is. Louise left early, and if Purplicious would have just sat there, he would have won the race.
But Purplicious took off after, committing himself to having to come around her on the big end if he could.
Tonight's race format is called 2 strikes and you're out.
Or to put a finer point on it, if you take 2 losses, you go home.
And Purplicious just got the first strike of the evening.
Up next, my little Dodge I call Moxie versus Mark Rendos and his experimental vet he calls Spearmint.
Yep.
Okay. Driver's ready.
Yep.
Clean start and Moxie was gone.
And Spearmint takes his first strike of the evening.
Our next race, Prince from the 724 versus Yucca from Motown. It's a couple of stingrays coming to get you.
Clean start, but Yucca takes the whole shot.
And Prince takes his first loss of the night.
Up next, we got Big Daddy Kane in his 1939 Chevy he calls Deluxe versus that Viper they call Snakebite from Motown.
Brian jumps, the Viper chases, then does some jumping of its own.
Out of the slot and lost power, but that's considered chasing. So, Snakebite takes the loss.
Pulling up to the start, we got the Olds versus Copperhead.
Driver's ready.
Everybody jumping and everybody chasing.
I don't know if Brian was chasing or Alexa jumped before he could jump.
Either way, Copperhead for the win, and the Olds takes his first hit of the evening.
This here's a real yesterday and today race. Annette in the Eliminator versus Jessica in Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
Did you hear that?
Why not? Yeah, I did. I did hear it.
As you can tell by Jessica's attempt to use her attenuator as a ray gun on Annette, things did not go her way. Eliminator won the race.
And Alley Cat joins the One Strike Club.
Alley Cat.
Up next, we have Enter Text Here. Hey, what the hell's Enter Text Here?
It's supposed to be 911. Hey man, somebody forgot to put the name in.
There we go.
911 versus Thunder Chicken.
I don't know if 911 jumped, but they sure got out of there in a hurry.
That Thunderbird had no chance of catching that Porsche.
Porsche. It's pronounced Porsche.
Not in my neighborhood, it's called a Porsche. And that's called 911 for the win.
And Thunder Chicken joins that club that everyone's just trying to stay out of, the One Strike Club.
And our next two drivers trying to stay out of that club is Unleashed versus Lil Demon.
Drivers ready.
Yep.
What the hell was that, Tony?
I thought he was going to jump. I swear I thought he was going to jump. Because he was going to jump, I was going to sit, and I was going to win.
Saves on gas, I guess. Lil Demon with his first loss.
On to round two, Copperhead draws the bye. And up next we have Enter Text Here versus Snakebite.
Come on, Tony. Don't you mean 911?
I couldn't resist myself.
Clean start. And Snakebite grabs the asphalt first and powers ahead for the win.
And that gives 911 her first loss.
Rolling up to the starting line, Eliminator versus Purplicious.
I'm not sure, but I think Brian tried to sit, but his thumb rebelled against him.
I think Brian needs to have a word with that thumb, because Purplicious just took his second strike and he's eliminated from the race. Up next, two guys who have raced one another many times.
Yes, indeed we have.
Thunder Chicken versus Moxie. And you jumped and Brian chased you.
Something happened to Thunder Chicken. He lost power anyhow, giving him his second loss and knocking him out of the race.
The racing gods seem to want to pit the Corvettes against each other today.
Spearmint versus Prince.
Man, you jumped again.
All of the drivers were just like a box of frogs today. Wasn't just me.
Mark chased you without a chance of catching you, and Spearmint gets knocked out of the race.
Up next, Motown teammates Alley Cat versus Yucca.
Alley Cat.
Yucca gets out first and takes the win, and Alley Cat is on her way back to Menneson.
Up next, Louise versus the Olds.
I do believe Brian and Annette have raced each other in every combination of cars they own.
Well, that is a racing family.
The Olds got out first, but Louise came around him at spot camera 2.
Giving Louise the win, and the Olds is finished for the night.
Our next two competitors, who are no stranger to each other, Tony in his 1970 Dodge Demon versus Big Daddy Kane in his 1939 Chevrolet.
I think we both jumped, but I jumped a little bit before him, and my little demon hangs on for another round.
And that gives Deluxe his first loss of the evening.
Up next, making her first appearance of the night, Pink Lady versus the GTO called Unleashed.
Pink Lady got out first, and she just kept putting distance between them.
And Unleashed gets his first loss of the evening.
Rod 3, Race 1 finds Unleashed racing Moxie.
One is running.
Rolling. Yep.
And what possessed you to go this time?
I think I found Brian's rebellious thumb.
Boy, you guys sure are jumpy today.
Yeah, it was going around.
Rolling up to the starting line, the Hudson Hornet called Pink Lady versus the Viper called Snakebite.
Rolling.
Same thing again.
The Hudson Hornet for the win, and the Viper takes the short trip home.
Annette Kane in 911 versus Tony in his Lil Demon. Demon got out first, but 911 came around you on the big end, and I think she clipped you.
911 for the win, and my little demon goes home.
Up next, how about that? It's Brian and Annette in their only two cars that haven't raced each other yet.
Clean start, but Brian got out first and got ahead and by about a fender, and he kept that fender till the finish line.
And that gives Eliminator its first loss.
Up next, Prince versus Copperhead.
Yeah.
Looks like Copperhead got out on you. But you came around him at about the 100-foot mark, and you took the win.
And Copperhead takes his first loss.
For our next race, we're going green. Louise versus Yucca.
They both wait for the arm drop, but Yucca got out first and held Louise off for the win.
Giving Louise her first loss for the evening.
Now it's off to round 4, and our first race is Yucca versus 911.
Yucca gets out first, but 911 comes around him on the big end for the win.
"911 takes Yucca by half a car, giving Yucca his first loss and leaving Pink Lady as the only undefeated car left.
Rolling.
Up next, Prince versus Louise.
Oh, you.
Prince took off like a dart, and Louise was sleeping on the line, giving Louise her second loss and sending her back to the trailer.
Next to the line, Eliminator versus Unleashed.
And you can't even see Jessica behind Brian's head. His head covers her whole body.
Unleashed gets out first, and Eliminator just couldn't get back around him.
We just eliminated the Eliminator, and then there were 8.
Up next, the undefeated Pink Lady versus Moxie.
Yep.
Moxie got off the line first, and both cars held steady the whole way down the track. And Moxie wins by about as much as he got off the starting line with. Let's take a look at that start again. Moxie leads a split second right before Pink Lady, and that race was won and lost at the starting line.
Next up to the starting gate, Deluxe versus Copperhead.
Deluxe gets out first. Copperhead takes his second loss, knocking him out of the competition. and moving us on to round 5.
First up, it's Moxie versus Yucca.
Yep.
Now that's a drag race.
And Yucca muscles ahead for the win, knocking Moxie out of the competition.
That gives us Deluxe versus 911. Brian in the net again.
Oh.
911 gets out first, but Deluxe comes around her on the big end, giving 911 her second loss and sending her home.
One is rolling.
Rounding third and headed for home, Pink Lady versus Unleashed.
Unleashed gets out first, and Pink Lady jostles with him for the lead.
It looked like Pink Lady was going to come around him at about the halfway point, but Unleashed stretched her out for the win.
Leaving us 4 cars and bringing us to our semifinal round. And the first race of the semifinal round will be Deluxe versus Unleashed.
Unleashed took off like a bullet, and Brian just could not catch him.
Leaving us just 3. The drag racing gods have spoken again. It's Stingray on Stingray. Prince versus Yucca.
Yep.
And they do not disappoint. But Yucca manages to get ahead and hold the Prince off for the win. Sending Prince home and taking us to the final round. Yucca versus Unleashed.
Rolling.
Rolling.
Drivers?
Yep.
Unleashed gets out on Yucca by about a bumper and wins the race by no more than a fender. A perfect end to a perfect day of racing. Let's go to the winner's circle.
First annual Jake's arm drop race. I got to give it to Jake Rendis. He pulled it off today. Here's your trophy.
And here's your winning car, Unleashed.
Next time on Back to the Streets, we'll be bringing you Truck Night Fall 2024.
The Street Division will be bringing out all of its fastest trucks for an evening of flashlight drags. And whoever gets the most wins takes the trophy.
So until then, thanks for watching. I'm Tony Mollick,
And I'm Randy Silvas.
and you've been watching Slotrods.
The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No sweeping allowed, yo, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch a show flow from a distance, but give her some space on, let the girl dance.
Now that's a drag race.
Always Owen!
It's pronounced Porsche.